A lot of us as entrepreneurs, when it comes to having our family to support us, we sometimes get discouraged when our family don't support us.
I've chosen to do this, so it's going to be for me. I'm going to make it for me.
Do not let nobody make you get off of your path. Hey guys, welcome to the Content Aesthetic Show, where we take different aesthetic professional med spa owners and allow them to tell their stories so they can impact you, so you can keep going, so you can be inspired, so you can impact the world. And on today's episode, we have Kiki. Kiki, do you love... No, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Oh, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Where do you want me to start? How far back?
Because like what made you get into the aesthetic world?
Well, I've always enjoyed beauty, making people feel good, look good. My journey started over 20 years ago. So I have been a cosmetologist since 2001. So, and I dedicated myself. I wasn't really into hair. So I automatically kind of went into the skin world by doing makeup.
Okay.
And so that's kind of where my journey started. In 2001, and just wanting to make people look good and feel good. At that time, there wasn't a big makeup artist epidemic.
Yeah.
In fact, when I would tell people I'm a makeup artist, they would look at me like, so what does that mean?
and so, like, how was that for you? Especially like the times is so different now.
Drastic.
Like, so it's like from then to now, like big thing, but you are able to have that influence plus now, like how did that help you?
Transitioning is been definitely a journey, because like you said, going from trying to convince someone they need to put makeup on to somebody telling you to put more makeup on is a huge difference. You know, back when I was doing makeup, you know, being a woman of African American descent, I'm mixed, but I couldn't get a black girl to put makeup on to save my life.
Yes.
So we went from that to I would be doing, I worked in production for a while. And as a transition, people were like, oh, you're not going to bake my face? You're not going to contour and do this? And I'm like, oh, you want 4 layers of makeup? Okay.
Yes.
So that was challenging.
Yes.
Because I was used to just doing kind of a more light, basic, you know, makeup look. And then it went from like, I want to look like I'm going to the Grammys.
Yes. I love that. But I love that you was able to do that for people and also build their confidence. I think that's the biggest thing that I see. It's like, when it comes to how you look, it affects your confidence big.
Absolutely. 100%. You know, kids are mean.
Yes.
So if, you know, growing up and you go through hormonal stages, like 13 and up, you know, that's a challenging time for most of us, boys and girls. You know, you get your breakout, your hormonal breakout. Maybe you play sports and your pores, you know, so if your skin doesn't look a certain way, that's when, you know, you start to get those little whispers. Of course, as an adult, I work also in the medical spa world. So if you have a skin condition, you know, you have to live with that. You have to, you know, that your face is the first thing people see. So, you know, feeling good and taking care of yourself and learning what to do is so important.
Yes, I think that's real big. And I tell people this all the time. A lot of the things that we deal with as adults today, it's a factor from when we was kids. When kids was picking on us, when they didn't have no sense, we still let those bullies, those things they said affect us to this day.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people run away from content because they still traumatized from that. But I always say this. When they was kids, they didn't know no better. Don't hold that. Don't let that hunt you down while you building as an adult. Because I bet you if you seen them kids today, they apologize. They didn't know no better.
They didn't. And a lot of them were dealing with their own self-esteem issues. So a lot of times it was easier to deflect, right? And say, look at you, and take away from what they actually had going on.
So what was that transition like for you to leave the cosmetics to come over to aesthetics? Like, that's a big jump.
It made sense because if the canvas was clear, the makeup looked better. So why not take care of your skin first so that you can have a clean canvas, and then the makeup, it was easy.
So
but
you went deeper.
Yeah. If I have to correct and change and fix and all this stuff, that's, I'm having to cover blemishes and dark spots and hyperpigmentation, textured skin. Your makeup, if you look in a lot of the celebrities, when you're looking close, and now everything is 4K, 8K, oh God. So you can see it all. And you're seeing underneath the makeup, the blemishes when they're zooming in, that I was glad, when Alicia Keys started that no makeup journey, although I had been a makeup artist, I understood, for me, I always told people makeup is an accessory, not a necessity. Well, at least it shouldn't be.
Yes.
I want you to put it on because you just want to look, feel good. And it just adds to when you're dressing up but when you can't leave the house without it, that's when we run into a little bit of.
So when you have clients that come in and say that, like, I don't feel like me, I don't feel beautiful unless I cake my face. Like, so you really understand how to deeply connect to them because you used to fix that with the makeup, but now you go deeper.
Yes. And just just being a woman and just being a mom too, and being around and knowing that people, like skin morphia. I don't know if you're familiar with that term, where people, it's a disorder where you don't ever think that you're beautiful. I mean, people can tell you, but when you walk by a mirror, you see something different than other people.
Yes.
So dealing with knowing people and having that condition, with the pressure of social media and filters.
Oh yeah, I know that's big.
People trying to like in real life, they think that they're supposed to look like a filter, and I'm like, that's just not realistic. That's why they have filters.
Yes,
is you can make yourself look 10 years younger, and you can shape your nose and your lips with so to try to live up to that is like my job is to say no, just love yourself. And let's just make your skin and you the best you could be, and not have to live up to other standards or, try to compete with unrealistic things.
Yes. I love that. So what made you, like, how was that process starting the actual aesthetic business, like opening up a med spa? Like, how was that?
Oh, man. So to be honest, I just had seen a need. This was about 2017, and I was working in the industry as an esthetician, and it was really in the medical aesthetic part of this field is a handful of African American women, and especially if you're working in lasers in the laser world and on more higher modality of function modalities, then it wasn't a lot of us.
Yes.
And I'm a person that takes my craft very seriously. So I travel around the country. I go to all the events. I know what equipment is coming out. I know what products are coming out. So I can always stay ahead, and not just in the cosmeceutical world, but also in the retail world. I want to have a conversation of intelligence where you're talking about a product. I'm knowledgeable about it. And then I can tell you what I think about that product, or I can tell you what I think is better out there. But that's because I know it. I've tried it. I have it. I've been to all their training.
You obsessed with it.
I'm obsessed.
That's how I am. I'm obsessed with it. Like I'm obsessed. Like when it came to like even for us as a content firm, we only deal with the aesthetic industry.
That's
so
dope.
All our clients is med spa owners, right, and aesthetic professionals. And it was hard because we so used to being generalized, like it's content, it's universal. But we was like, okay, we want to move and we want to serve people that want to help people. That was the biggest thing. But we had to get obsessed with understanding the ins and the outs of the industry, the word. And we already know the process of how to get you visible, how to get your clients, how to get you all that. But then we start realizing, it's more to it. Like they have problem with sales, or growth, or hiring, or structure, or scalability. Like it get deep, right?
It get deep.
And sometimes, sometimes they come for us for content, and then we just been mentors. We become their mentors, all universal, because we have experience. And so it's like, I think that's a big thing. But for you to be obsessed with your craft, that's what it takes to dominate.
Yeah. It's funny. It's challenging in business because I am so deep embedded in the education and the knowledge that I present, that you're right, sales to many times fall at the side. I'll give so much free information and free consultations and services because I really care, that many times I'm like, okay, now I got to make some money. So, when you love it, the good thing about it is I love it so much that it doesn't feel like work. Yes. I could do this. I say I got into a profession that I could do until literally my back hurts. Yes. And not be, I could still get up in the morning. So I could see myself at 50 still getting up in the morning going, I got to go see my clients. At 60, you probably be like, ma'am, it's time for you to retire. Yes. But I truly love it. Yes. And it's funny being in this so long, I've transitioned for a little bit into some other fields, but at first I thought it might be shallow, right? Doing makeup, it seemed like, it just seemed like at first a shallow field. And then I got to say, wait a minute, I'm there for people's first proms, their first baby showers, their weddings, their funerals, their divorce. I'm there for so many.
You part of history.
Yes, I'm like, people will run up to me and be like, girl, you remember me? Yes. I'm in their wedding, photography photos and books. And I'm like, oh my God. Yes. That's crazy. So
you create moments.
You do. That lasts like for some people forever.
I love that. And so when you said I'm gonna open up my practice and my business, like walk me through that. Did you go get funding? Did you do it out of pocket? Was it phases?
That's a whole story in itself. I started in January 2020.
Yes, pandemic.
So that just tells you right there. And I'm like, really? Okay, so I took a leap of faith and I started January 2020. And you mean 2 months later, the whole world shuts down? Yes. What is that? But I pivoted. I figured it out. I turned an apartment into a spa.
Yes.
And literally found an apartment where they had a sauna, jacuzzi, and a steam room. So I utilized the whole darn apartment.
Yes.
And people loved it because they didn't have to interact with other people. It was private. They felt pampered. I offered so many services. So I mean, it was definitely a great experience.
And I love that when I seen that about your story, that you started an apartment. But you tell me that wasn't your apartment. That was just a apartment, right?
I rented it, rented an apartment.
So what would you say to the people that make excuses? Since you made no excuses, the world was going crazy. You said, I'm going to rent an apartment just for my spa. Like, where did that come from?
I mean, I'll be honest, I've always been very ambitious and self-motivated. And I'm one of those people, I'm going to just figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. I had started a party bus and called it the Pampering Party Bus in 2012. And mobile spa wasn't even a thing. Yes. But I figured out how to make a transportation business and turn it into a mobile spa. Yes. And I'm just one of those people, I just, hey, when there's a will, there's a way.
I love it. And you was doing this as a mother. Like, how was balancing motherhood, business, entrepreneurship, ups, down, the world? Like, how was that for you?
It's still a challenge. And, it's a lot to, when you're trying to give 100% to everything and everybody, something falls at the waistline, and hopefully not your family.
Yes.
But many times as a solopreneur, entrepreneur, and you're working hard, you spend many, many hours in your place of business. The demand is strong, right? When you get a haircut, you're like, what you mean you're not going to be there on Thursday after this? I need my haircut.
Yes, 100%.
You don't care what he got going on. Like, man, I need my haircut.
Yeah, so, it's about me right now.
So it's a very demanding field, right? Yeah. And then, having family and kids and, is also demanding as basketball games and it's whatever sport they're in, soccer. And so you're like trying to balance life. So, I mean, you truly got to be committed to this.
Yes.
And I know you know that because like you said, you guys figured out, you put a lot of research and time and it's like, I'm in this, like, let's win. Hopefully you get a good support system.
Yes.
So I've tried to tell my family, hey, when I win, you win. So,
but do they understand when you say that? Because a lot of us as entrepreneurs, when it comes to having our family to support us, we sometimes get discouraged when our family don't support us. Yes. But it's like I always say, it's like most of the time, like where I'm from Chicago, right? And so most of my family, don't have a vision, don't have a dream. And so me leading out my vision and my dreams, they might not see it because it ain't them. You know, and sometimes us as entrepreneurs, we be forcing, oh, I want my family to support me. Nobody's supporting me.
Oh, it's tough. Yeah, it's very tough because my family, you know, is many times like, why don't you just don't get a job?
Yeah.
Why do you have to work all these hours?
Yes.
Just, you know, maybe it's not for you. And, you know, it's like, well, I've chosen to do this. So it's going to be for me. I'm going to make it for me. And I just, the journey might be a little longer than checking into a job.
Yeah.
But, you know, you guys are going to be the beneficiaries of my hard work. So, you know, with time, they see you sticking with it. They see it's not a fly-by-night thing. They kind of like, okay, damn, she.
There's some years in now. Like, okay,
I think this is
because can I come get a job? Like, no, I love it, and I think that's the biggest thing, especially in our community. Like where I live, I live in a city called Johns Creek, right? And when I bought my house because I'm in one of the prestige zip codes.
Yes,
and all of my neighbors are Jewish. Yeah, right. And I wanted to see, first of all, number one, I never wanted my kids to be inferior by no other ethnicity, number one. Number two is I wanted to see how other ethnicities operate because I'm from the projects. So I only seen how we operate. Yes. And so I was very, very mindful of how I did that. Right. And so like one of my neighbors, their son, he wanted to start a business. And so he was able to raise $1.2 million from the family in 1 week.
Amen.
In 1 week. I said, if I was to ask one of my cousins for $200, it would be a problem.
Tell me about it.
It would be a problem. But then it's like, why can't we grow? Why can't we scale? What's stopping us? But then I started to realize we have to be the ones to break the generational curse, change the mindset. Correct. We have to be the ones to get all of the stabbings, all of the everything, go out and believe in our dreams to show people that it's possible. Yes. And so I'm learning that every single day.
I think you're doing a wonderful job.
I got no choice.
That's right. And that's the mentality you have to have, that I have no choice. Right there. Yeah. That's it. People would tell me many times, I'm a Brooklyn, Queens girl. Okay. So I was born in Brooklyn, raised in Queens.
Shout out New York.
Right. And so I had very similar, a little bit of upbringing. I did grow up downtown Brooklyn. It's a very prominent Jewish community, but also being a project girl. Yeah. And just not wanting to be that. You know, people would say, even when I moved to Atlanta, I moved by myself. Yeah. I didn't have no support. There was nobody here to help, but I said, I'm going to figure it out.
100%.
And I had, you know, and so that was a testimony for other family members. Like, dang, she really went out there with nobody and figured it out, and she ain't come back, and she ain't, you know, and failure has never been in my vocabulary, so it doesn't even exist for me. So when you say you have no choice, that's how it just, you have no choice.
That's it. Go all in. All in. You're going to bump your head. You're going to make mistakes, but you got to go all in.
You got to go. And like you said, you're an example. So now when people see you and you come from the neighborhood and they're like, you know, man, how do you do it? Determination.
The biggest thing is I let them know that it's possible. And I never, ever talk about money, number one. And I never, ever take them off a level that it's not equal. Like I always let them know, like, anything is possible. Here go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. If you do this, if you need help, I'm here. Okay. Because, you know, sometimes people can look at you like you up, like you better than them. Yeah. I don't even give out that energy.
That's right.
Because it's like, I'm from here. I'm from nothing. Like some of my cousins, they still wild and all of that. And they be like, oh, because, like, I be like, hey, you got to do this because you once was like this. Yeah, if I can change, I know you can change. Okay. And I was way worse than you. I had no guidance. My mama was on dope. My daddy got killed when I was 1. So I'm a real project baby. So I was like so thrown off. Like I didn't even, my leadership was for gain, right? But it's because that's what I was brought up. All my uncles, they all enforcers. And so when you built up like that, loyalty, your word, everything means the world to you. And that's what you make moves off of that. Right. And so when I realized that the world was bigger and it was really things called opportunities, I started to envisioning stuff a lot different. Like, I think that's a big thing.
I think because of your upbringing, that helps so many of us. If you had come from something that you don't necessarily want to go back to, you're more likely to fight more. You know, we work so hard to provide opportunity for our kids that we don't, and they don't have the same kind of motivation and determination as us. They're like, it didn't work out, I'm just going to stay home, you know. We're like, no, we
Go
gotta figure
it
this out. We
Yes.
want more, you know. And it's funny because I have family members too, and
Yeah.
I love what you said because I'm definitely gonna try to implement that. Is just building them up and staying positive. But you just feel like if I expose you to more, you would want more.
Yeah.
And for some people it works.
Most people don't, because but the biggest thing I learned is plant the seed and allow it to water itself. Allow it to grow, because even some stuff that our older people, our parents or whatever, might have put into us early, it didn't click.
That's true.
And sometimes for them it's not gonna click, because when you see the same four walls, the same stop signs, the same everything, you don't even know that it's a bigger world out there. So you like, that worked for you, but that ain't gonna work for me.
That's true.
So everything is about mindset. So how did you make the mindset say, I'm gonna scale my business through the ups and the downs?
Well, I'll tell you, I guess I would say this. I was a teenage mom. And so I was always determined to not be a statistic.
100%.
And I was like, oh no, I didn't understand how you can use it as a excuse instead of a motivator. So I was going, she's going to see so much better than me. Everything I did was just focus on so that she could see me as her superstar, you know. So I even took her to college with me in another state. And you know, people were like, you're going to take your baby to college? I took her to college with me. Yes. And so she went through a journey with me, and I could only go up because that was my example to her of what you don't ever let any situation hold you back. You let it motivate you. And most of the situations in life that weren't ideal were like that just drove me more to do better. It never stopped me.
I love that. And so what made you be like, I don't want to be a statistic? Like, what made you think that?
I don't know. It was just watching other. I was confused that if you see this going on around you, you know, why would you want to be like, why would you want to be like that? I wanted to be everything but that. You know, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to live, like you said, I don't want to be a project mom and going in, you know, the welfare office and having to stand on a line. Or, you know, I wanted, you watch TV, maybe if you never got outside of the environment, but you seeing, maybe you driving through a neighborhood, you're going, how do they live in this big house? How do they drive this nice car? You know, like in the Jewish community, they owned the whole street. They had their own buses, own schools. How? You know? So I think when you have a curious mind and you just not everybody have it, but you know, for the people who do, it's in you to want more. You're trying to figure it out.
And the biggest reason I asked you that, right now I got a sister. She's 20. She just graduated from the University of Georgia, but she also just got pregnant, and she also just started law school. And so the biggest thing I told her to do is not to be a statistic. Do not let nobody make you get off of your path.
That's right.
Stay focused. I said, even if I have to add your child care to my child care, right? Because I want you to go out and you always been intelligent, you always been smart, you know, it just happens like that. But it's like, don't give up.
Well, give her my number. I'll definitely motivate, because you know, that's very you know, that's close to heart, because that was you in a situation where it's like, I got into college, but I got a baby. Like,
and the thing about she
balance that.
And she went to the University of Georgia full ride.
Wow.
At 16.
Oh my goodness.
And so she graduated. So you gotta think, she's 20 now in law school.
She go girl. You
so now she's at I think it's John Marshall.
Well, she got, and it will motivate her because she has to. Like, how am I feed this baby? I got to get this law degree. Let's go. And the support system is there. Listen, you already said you need health care. You need shelter. You need health care. You need a way to get to
whatever it takes. Because the biggest thing is, I told her, do not become a statistic.
No.
Don't let nobody else make you that.
Absolutely not.
Because you can do this. You can get through this. Right?
For sure.
And so I love that. And so for you to even think like that early on tells me that you're strong-minded. So tell me a little bit about, where do you put your mindset when business do slow down? Because we entrepreneurs, we have seasons.
Well, I mean, most people know I've mentored a lot of young ladies. I've trained a lot of young ladies. I work with different companies that may send people, you know, aspiring estheticians or young ladies looking for work who want some experience, and I bring them in and give them a chance to learn and see how business works. Sometimes people coming to work with me and seeing how business really works, they're like, oh, maybe I don't.
Well, you
maybe
move the
I don't want a
curtains.
business because it seems so glamorous, like you said, social media content, half the time I laugh and I'm so grateful to meet you. So you can, start even helping with some, but I said, well, how, if you're working, how are you able to shoot so much content? Because I'm literally at work doing the service. So I'm like, who's following you around with a camera? So sometimes people, and I found, especially a little bit in younger community, they were looking, everything was looking like a movie, but in real life, I'm like, have you had a real client?
It was a scary movie in real life.
It's a scary movie in real life. So I'm like, okay, well, this is what it really takes.
Yes.
And then I have to get up early, and I work sometimes 7 days a week.
Yes.
And I have to get up, and for $20, it could be an eyebrow wax, but my mission is to make that eyebrow wax a chemical peel. You know what I mean?
Upsell.
So I'm not turning nothing down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and if you have the attitude, well, I'm not getting that's only, that's not a business, that's not a successful business mindset.
It ain't gonna last long.
You got to go hard. You want this. This is yours. Nobody's giving this. There's no check being written. You create the check. You are the check.
And what I see a lot is most of our clients came from like the bedside, right? And so it's like they'll spend the last 10 years, 15 years in the hospital. And so they're brainwashed for employment. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to entrepreneurs, they don't understand investment. They think everything's an expense. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, well, I got to personally pay for it. Who else?
Right. Well, yeah, you are.
I think you forgot that we're a business too, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You forgot you're talking to another business that's.
I'll be honest. I was guilty of that. One person told me, I ran a spa for a few years, and they were like, "Your marketing and advertisement budget should be almost as much as your rent." And I was like, "Really?" And no one tells you that. Yeah. Like who knows you here? Yeah, nobody for sure. Nobody knows you here. Yeah. You're out there, but where? Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing.
It's huge.
Focusing on a certain demographic. Like, why did you choose to do that?
Well, I'm still trying to figure out which demographics to truly focus on, especially going into a new area where I'm now located in Tucker, Georgia. Trying to figure out who is my niche client there and who should I be focusing on. Previously, I prided myself in being an expert in African-American skin, clearly. But because of my diverse background, I understand that skin is not created equal. Mm-hmm. My mom is Native American and German, and my dad is Dominican and Black. So I have a little bit of everything. Yeah. So when I see skin, I can kind of determine on your ethnicity what may be some of the issues, right? Yeah. But because I focused on Black skin, and then I'm in the area right now, and I'm going, ooh, is that my... I'm saying this, but I'm in an area where it's older white women. Yeah. So, how do I pivot that? And, are they going to come travel to me? So that's an interesting question because I've been trying to, figure that out. Like, do I change or do...
I think I understand because I think we're going through the same thing. It's like, but I think the thing I told myself the other day, what we're going to do is we're going to allow expansion. And we're going to give back to our people. Mm. So we're going to collect everything. Right. But we're going to give back to our people. So we're going to use our profits to help, aesthetics in school, Black nurses. Mm-hmm. We're creating a thing called Black Spa Scholarships where we're giving away resources to help them. Mm. And so that is what we're going to do. We're going to expand because we don't want to limit our growth. Mm-hmm. And at first I felt like I was limiting my growth. I felt like I put a line in the sand. I picked a side, but then I said, well, in order to dominate, you got to dominate. Mm. And so I think that's where we at. Let's expand.
I mean, I was having a conversation about this, which is good that this came up as a question because the same thing. I'm like, well, where's the people who are going to support? Where's the money? Yeah. And so if this demographic is going to support, like you said, I could still specialize. Yeah. I'm here. Yeah. I'm educating. I still want to support. I still want to mentor. But I got to keep my doors open.
100%, because you got kids. You gotta have your kids. Gotta have kids. So that means you got a legacy you doing this for. Like when I looked at like Lamborghini, and I looked at all of these big things. Lamborghini started as a tractor. A tractor.
Wow.
Not a luxury car.
Right. Wow.
Right. Majority of the companies that we look at today ain't what they were when they started.
Right.
And so because we started here don't mean we're going to end here.
Right.
And so I feel like expand, get the name known, get the name solidified, and then we can have different sectors. So even when you think about the branding of big corporations, every demographic has a different marketing plan. Every demographic. Sometimes we be thinking, oh, this universal. No, this billboard gonna look different if it's over here in the zip code.
True.
But we don't think like that.
Right.
We think one shoe fits all, and that's not how it works. And so expand. Expand.
Okay.
Expand.
Well, I decided to start kind of special, well, kind of, what is the word I'm looking for? But kind of closing in on men's skincare and teens. Why? Because I found that men are more, for one, y'all a little bit more loyal of a client. Men, they say you more, this is a joke, but they say you're more likely to cheat on your wife than your barber. So that's the joke. But so meaning that you're that loyal to.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I didn't mean to say that. That's
what they say. But so that just tells me, okay, when you do get a male client, if he really likes your work and he thinks you're good, he's gonna stick with you. He's not going to shop around like some other consumers. And in teens, right, when I was talking about this is when the self-esteem time comes in, right? And because we love our children so much, you're more likely to invest in your kids to make sure they're good. And hey, I would get all these calls. Kiki, what should I do? My son's skin, my daughter's skin, bring them on in. And then I realized, well, you ain't been here in 3 months to get a facial, but you brought this kid here. You know what I mean? So, okay, you're going to spend the money on your kids many times more than even yourself. Yes. So why not focus on that demographic, because it's a growing one with the men. I love that you guys are taking care of your skin. Y'all not gonna be the only ones out here looking good.
Yeah, some of the guys, they overdo it now. It's a limit to it.
They do a little bit too much. And it takes us to go, well, the women too, right? Yeah. So it takes y'all to tell us, you don't need to do all that, and vice versa. You don't need to create a whole hairline. I got you. I understand.
Facts. I love it. So how do you use content right now to grow your business?
Well, I'm here. I'm trying to figure that out. Because I've been kind of shy, which is I'm probably sure you're surprised at that point.
Yes.
But shy in the sense of like, is this okay to show? Should I show this? So people want to see my life. I look crazy. So I've overthought.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. That's not shy, right?
No? Okay.
Shy is a lie, right? We use shy as an anchor word as an excuse. Oh, I'm shy, because if somebody really shy, they'll be in the house in the corner, not even seeing the real world, not speaking, not talking to nobody. Right. That's shy. Okay. But what happens is we have something that affected us when we was younger that's still affecting us to this day, and we don't know how to part ways with it. And so that's why you overthink. Oh, is somebody going to like what I'm saying? Oh, they're going to like, it don't matter. Your message is going to be for the person you serving regardless. So if you're serving teens, if you're serving men, whatever you serving, that message is for them. It's not for everybody. And once you realize that, you get to start shooting content and being your authentic self. I say, if you got a list, talk with your list. That's your uniqueness. See, your uniqueness is what makes your greatness. But right now, we running away from our greatness because we won't be copy paste what we see on the internet.
Got a point.
So it's like, no, just show up in your content. All right, whoever you talking to, learn them and study them and serve them. That's how I look at content. When we creating content, because even for our clients, we create all ideas. But then we have like a couple different words. We have done for you and we have done with you. Our done with you, we virtually take over their mobile device while they're shooting content anywhere in the world at their spa.
Oh, wow.
So they love us because we sitting there. They have a live director right there coaching them on what to say, how to look. If it's done wrong, redo it. So you don't think about none of that.
Yeah, you don't have to think.
Yeah, you just shoot and it uploads directly from you. So we edit, we do all the post. You get your time back to serve your patient, and we only see you once a month for 1 hour.
Oh, wow.
Yep. It'd be different, right? So it's like whenever I hear that, I'll be like, Oh, it's just that overthinking.
It's overthinking.
Muting your voice from serving the people that you was called to serve.
Preach.
No, that's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. Like when I look at my clients, I'm like, y'all are going out here front line, serving and rebuilding the community. You gotta. It takes a lot. And so it's like, we can't let the internet dictate what we say and how we say. So it's like that's the biggest thing. So
you dropping some jewels on me over here.
Content is my life. I love this. I love that. I left my 9-to-5 in 2010 and I started my content business. Look at that. 14 years ago. Wow. So I've been shooting content the whole time. Most people just now getting into content. I've been in this. Right. I love this.
So you're like, I know what I'm doing.
Oh, I study. I spend tons of money. Tons of money. I spent tons of millions of dollars invested, millions into this. Wow. And that's why it's like, but I did this because I heard, this was later on in life, but I heard TD Jakes say, if Jesus was to come back, he'll come back as a director, a filmmaker. Because what we're doing now is doing parables. We're telling stories. We're helping people. We're serving. But the way we're doing it is with content. And I got into filmmaking because I'm like, if I want to make a difference in my community, I have to dictate what the media shows.
That's important.
Always, from day one. And so if I want to make a great impact, I have to control the narrative. Interesting. To impact. And so you have the possibility to control the narrative, to impact your community, to take their skin serious, to feel more beautiful, to feel more confident. But you have to just show up and speak from your heart.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start today. I got Huda with me as a witness. We're going to do a whole little, when we leave here, I'm going to talk about how inspired I am, which I am. I am very inspired. I appreciate that.
I appreciate your time. And I want you to look into this camera and think about a static professional that may be going through something right now. What would you say to them?
I don't want to be cliche and say don't give up, but clearly you know your worth. You know you're good at what you do. You can't compete with people that are not even competing with you. You are in your own lane and you got to stay the course. You got to stay focused and know that what you're in it for has a long-term goal, and that if you stay with it, you can achieve it. And if you need to pivot, you know, they say in life, there's no losses, there's just lessons. So you take that lesson and you learn from it and you come back and you do it better, but you just don't give up. Keep going. And there's a support system out there. We have to find each other, but we're out here. You know, I don't know it all, but I'm here. I'm constantly learning. And, you know, as long as I learn and then it's going to happen. And there's no time frame. You know, we always comparing ourselves. And, you know, I just had a birthday. I'm getting older. Thank you. But, you know, I'm like, hey, it may look like a 25-year-old is doing better than me. Well, maybe I need to find out what the 25-year-old is doing, you know, which is fine. Yes. So keep it going and just, you know, don't give up. Your time will come.
I love that. And Kiki, what is your superpower? One thing, if you could think of one thing.
Resilience.
Why?
Because I never give up. I in every adversity, I just take it and keep going. Most people know me. You wouldn't even imagine my life story, but I never let it stop me. And I smile every day because I woke up this morning. So I think that's my superpower, is just not giving up and staying its course and being happy.
I love that. And I want to thank you for your time today. I want to thank you for inspiring. I want to thank you for even thinking about opening up a business to make a difference in your community, which most people are scared to do, but you have the courage to do. So I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for that acknowledgement.
I want to thank y'all for tuning in to the Content Aesthetic Show today. I think the biggest thing I want you to realize is, do not become a statistic. I want you to stay resilient. I want you to stay going. I want you to stay inspiring. Even when times get hard, I want you to stay strong, because that storm don't last forever. And you have the capabilities, you have the strengths to do something different, but you have to show up and don't give up and become a statistic. All right. Thank you so much for your time, and tune in to the next episode of the Content Aesthetic Show with Dontel Antonio. Thank you.